Hola guys, it's Tara by Tess. Here for a message for whomever it applies. I did it for all zodiac signs. I did a mini grand tableau for all zodiac signs, but I'm going to let you know I didn't finish it. Okay? You can see some of my notes over here. I was writing about this big, and all I got through was the top row. Okay? And of course, some of the cards that are clarifying are in these other rows, so I couldn't just get rid of them. But really, I was planning on doing the whole thing, and I just couldn't. So your reading is the top row with some clarifying cards. I might pull from Universal Rider-Waite, as well as the Angel Answers Oracle deck kind of thing. This is a very different kind of a reading. A little specific. Hello, Fluff. Nice to see you. Stop pawing my butt. Thanks. Go on. Shoo. Shoo. He always needs so much attention. Okay, so I finally found the card combinations in the Lenormand deck that mean PTSD. Because I was looking at these two cards and I thought, I have no idea what these cards mean together. Because like I've mentioned several times, I'm still learning this deck because I've always done tarot. And this is still tarot, but it's different. I guess some would not consider it tarot, but it is to me. Especially since they have the cards in the corner that relate to the tarot. Of course, now I can't fucking think of the combination. Shit. Okay, I know one is the moon. Damn it. It'll come to me. Especially when I go through my notes. I mean, you guys, I'm serious. These are my notes just for the first little row. And there was so much. Look how little that is. I mean, oh my goodness. Like, I took notes on everything because. But what I really found is I'm going to be repeating myself, guys. Because several different combinations said the exact same thing. So it's also another reason why I feel like I could stop. Because the same message was coming out, but just with different cards. Very often. I don't know, different. Alright, so the overall for this whole thing is Stork. This means that, well, to me it looks like positive changes. Changes are afoot, okay? It says, a stork in flight promises delight. A stork in range signals change. Progress heals pain drawn from the past. Embrace kindness and new friendships will last. Well, fuckity fuck. I didn't even use this in any of my combinations, even though it touches all the cards in the reading. Because I know it usually means change. Okay. But it talks about embracing kindness and then lasting friendships and then making progress to heal some kind of pain from the past. That's pretty much this whole reading. So that was interesting. But it's changing and delightful changes. Also promises too. So, and there's some kind of promise in here. I'm not sure what it was. It could have been like some kind of a promise, an unspoken promise, unspoken impression maybe. I'm not sure, but I'm going to go ahead and get started. Going out in for your first row, we have clouds and tower. What the fuck did I write down? Oh my goodness. BEA. Oh, it's not a W, it's a U. Okay, bureaucracy. Okay. I was like, what the fuck did I write down? Okay, you guys. I had to write tiny and messy, so. Okay, so this tells me that distance, whether physical or temporal, does that mean time? I'll tell you guys, I've become stupid ever since I became a teacher. Okay, so time-wise or distance-wise, it's bringing clarity, okay? And then I'm seeing that somebody may have been quick to accept some kind of authority. But somebody, most likely a male, has been very, very troubled. And And they've kind of isolated themselves with the Tower here. And shut themselves up in their own despair. I can't say it's a very happy reading, but it is, okay? In that everything seems to get resolved. But whatever needs to be resolved is not happy. But then there's somebody else who has kind of shut themselves out of somebody else's despair. Like they have not paid attention, or they did not want to see it, or something like that. But I'm seeing lots of loneliness. Confusion and despair. And there's some kind of misunderstood arrogance. Somebody came off as arrogant, and that was a misunderstanding. Also, somebody's trying to control their loneliness. They're trying to control how they're perceived. Somebody comes across as conceited, or they are conceited. And then somebody is offering this person admiration. I hope you're going to put all this together, okay? Because there's so many different combinations here that it could all be the exact same scenario, or it could be bits and pieces for different people, but an overall scenario, okay? And I don't like to give the overall until the end, just because I like you to hear everything. I guess in that way I get to control the reading, but... and please don't ask me to timestamp this. I'm about to hurt somebody. Okay, but anytime you have clouds, especially as your very first fucking card, there's just lots of confusion and misunderstanding, okay? As well as something that's just hidden. Okay, I'm trying to put my leg up in, I guess, yoga style or something. We'll see how this goes. Okay. And I really don't understand what the bureaucracy was about, unless maybe like somebody's involved with work or something of that nature. But it kind of jumps from friendship to relationship, and then it kind of stays with relationship. But either way, it's going to involve a friendship or a relationship, romantically, I mean. Because obviously friendships can be relationships. Okay. Alright, so with the clouds and the flowers, what we have here is either somebody gave or received a fake compliment, or somebody's perceiving a compliment as fake or insincere. Somebody is perceiving a hidden agenda, or there is one. Okay, so here's the difference between what might actually be and what's perceived, because we have the clouds here. So it could be either or. Okay, and what I'm really getting here is that it's probably a misconception. There's probably a lot of sincerity going on. Okay, because everything else looks really good. Or this could be something that happened in the past, but maybe in the future it's sincere. Okay. And then there's some kind of social insecurity, possibly social awkwardness. Yeah. There's more. I mean, that's just 2 combination cards. Just wait. Okay. With the clouds and the letter underneath it. I want to read, pardon me, the letter little poem and explain it a little bit. It says, "This surprise letter from a place remote brings good news from a friend who wrote. If the words portend a stormy sky, Sadness will soon much intensify. But we really don't have a stormy sky. We just have cloudy. It's like a sunny, cloudy day, okay? But it's a surprise letter that's coming. And when it says a place remote, what I get here is, yes, this person could be distant because that was brought about with the clouds in the tower. But again, it could also be time-based. So from the past, a time remote, a place remote, whatever. But I feel like it's going to be good news, but it's not going to be easy. So there could be something that's very slow moving, as well as a lot of fear revolving around this situation. Okay, but what we have here is communication that's cloudy or obscure. So we have unclear communication. We also have lies by omission, possibly. Or somebody was not aware they were lying, or somebody thought somebody was lying when they were not. But we just have misunderstanding. I feel like people were talking and people were misunderstanding what they were saying. Could be jumbled conversations. Some people are actually going to be lost for words, because I have this whole like cat got your tongue thing, and it's popped up in a few combinations actually. And somebody might express the utter despair that they've been feeling, this lack of hopelessness. But then we also have like cat got your tongue, so it's as if it has not been opened or expressed, but it may eventually happen. Yeah. Okay, a clarified cloud with ring, which is catty corner to it, because I like to clarify cloud because it's the confusion, so we want to figure out what's confusing or what's being hidden. And so I pulled all the cards that I could, and we have an unclear relationship. And there's some kind of misunderstanding where the cause or the origin was just not known. Okay, like what started this, it's not known, or at least not by everybody. And then we have somebody who is insecure about some kind of a relationship they're in or some kind of a commitment. Maybe there's some kind of a secret association that people aren't aware of. I also get the idea here that people are wondering like who is their ally and who's not. They're not really sure where they stand, like a Seven of Wands kind of feeling. But also here, this tells me that despair is being shared. Okay, like we have a contract, we're agreeing to do this, and it's about confusion and despair. So there's a few possibilities of what that means, okay? One, it could be somebody shares or expresses the despair that they feel. But then we also have somebody who's shouldering that burden with the other person. Or that both parties have the same reaction to whatever has happened, which is despair. I'm just going to title this Despair and get it over with. No, just kidding. But we have mutual misunderstanding. So both parties are like, they're just not completely understanding what's going on, but they both are seeming to have the same depression. And I feel like if they both share this, it will relieve the burden. Like, kind of like, I don't want to take on my burden, so you take it for me, but I'll take yours instead. And so when you shoulder somebody else's burden, it's not really so much of a burden, but yet you get to get rid of yours. And I know that's not really physically possible, but that's kind of this feeling, this idea that I get. But I'm getting this feeling, because there's so much misunderstanding, you're really wondering who is your friend and who's not your friend. And you're just not really able to connect or relate in some way. Okay, connecting cloud to dog. We have, I'm itching, I'm so sorry. When I itch, that means it's a good reading. I don't know why I'm itching so much. It means an unclear relationship, but somebody has not they can't discern where somebody's loyalty is. They can't see the loyalty. And we have 10 of Cups. So this would be a fucking fantastic relationship if people could actually understand what's going on. We have the rainbow card, which is the 10 of Cups, and then we have the clouds, and the clouds are at the end of the rainbow, and they're like masking the gold. So that's what I see here. But yeah, they're just not discerning the loyalty, but it's there because we have a dog. And also, if there may be some people out there, if this is just about friendships, I feel like there are some friends that might have some secrets. Also could be like secrets not only about a friend, but maybe an employee in some way, coworker. There's some kind of misunderstanding with somebody you thought was your friend, or somebody you thought you could trust, somebody you thought was loyal. And that's what has already happened. It was this misunderstanding. And it could have been that there was so much misunderstanding between you guys that somebody got bored. And because of this, we have the Scythe. And I feel like they could have put an end to something. But really, what's going to happen is you're going to eliminate the confusion. And this person decided to try to do that through immaturely cutting everything off. Like they were just like, cut off, shut the door in your face kind of thing. And it was actually immature, which means it was not ready, or it was not time for that to come to fruition. But it actually didn't eliminate the confusion. Okay. In fact, it may have actually caused more. Because we have, not only did we eliminate confusion in parentheses, but then we had quick and sudden confusion. So there was something very abrupt, some kind of abrupt ending that caused lots of confusion. But don't worry, eventually you will eliminate the confusion, okay? But this, somebody caused the confusion to themselves, whomever this is for or whomever this is about. Whoever ended something, they brought all of this about onto themselves. And then I have a headache, so they caused their own headache. They were trying to get rid of a headache, but they ended up like creating a bigger one, like a migraine. But, in the end, confusion will end. In the end, something will end. Yep, okay. I need a drink. And no, there's nothing in here. Nothing hard. Okay, so that was clouds, which is your first card. Okay, I'm gonna move on to flowers. Oh my goodness. You see why I stopped where I did. I took 20 minutes to read that one card. So we have flower and child, going from out in. This says, somebody was nice to somebody upon every connection. Okay? Somebody was very generous and kind. And then just thinking about that scythe for a minute, somebody's planning on yanking somebody out of their despair. Or out of some kind of pretense. Like they're going to drop the pretense. They're going to be vulnerable. Okay, but anyway, with this particular card combination, there could be a reconnection with an old friend or an ex, where somebody's nice to somebody. And especially with the scythe here, action is needed to be taken on this. So I'm not sure if this has happened recently or it's about to happen. But action needs to be taken on this. So if you've recently reconnected with someone, or that ends up happening, something needs to happen quickly in order for this to pan out in a good way. But see, I feel like this has already happened a little bit too, because somebody gave somebody compliments with the flowers here. We'll talk a little bit about that in some other combinations. But somebody was unaware that they may have just been flattered. Okay? But then I'm getting the other way around too. So I think there may be two scenarios here. Some people just were naive and did not know they were being flattered. And then other people thought they were being flattered when really they were being admired or complimented or praised. And somebody thought that they were being insincere, but they were not. So that's when I get these two scenarios, that's what it bugs me. But I gotta give it everything because there's a lot of people watching. But I'm seeing, but what I'm seeing here is somebody was being innocently friendly or honestly friendly. And it took a lot of trust. Okay. With flowers and whip, or birch rod in this case, but it's whip. What I see here is this person has been very nice, and they may have sugar-coated something that was really atrocious, like sugar-coating abuse. But this says, be so friendly, and, well, somebody was so friendly and so non-confrontational that some others may think that they can exploit this person. Exploit their goodness. Or that may have been something that happened. But what I'm seeing here is that somebody either reacted or they should react with kindness whenever somebody shows aggression. So this may have happened. Somebody may have acted aggressively and the other person was like killing them with kindness. This may have brought about some kind of guilt or shame. I also feel like somebody's trying to alleviate some guilt, and they're making attempts to appease this. Okay, with flowers and ring. I know you guys usually think like giving somebody something, proposals, whatnot, but that's not completely here. Although there is some kind of a proposed idea. And yes, there's one possibility of marriage. There might be another possibility of living together, but that's later on. Okay. But it doesn't even have to be living together. It could be something else. So I'll bring that up when it's time. Oh, I just hit my computer. So mean. All right, so we have a social connection with somebody, and you actually have some shared tastes. Shared conceptions of beauty. And what I'm seeing here is somebody was trying to be nice and complimentary. It may have come across as flattery, or somebody was not quite certain if it was flattery or not. And the person was just trying to make everything cohesive by being nice. They were trying to show compassion, or that brought out somebody's compassion. I feel like somebody gave somebody a gift, and there were no strings attached. This gift could have been the praise, or there could have been an actual gift involved. But again, no strings were attached. Now, I'm not saying like no strings attached, sex. I'm saying like somebody actually gave somebody something. They didn't expect anything in return. Okay. Then we have lilies. So flowers and lilies. Got lots of flowers going on over here. Somebody may give somebody some lilies. I don't know. But what I see here is there's a possibility of running into somebody at a theater. This could be a movie theater. This could be like a play, like a theater. What do you even call those places? Some place where some theatrics are going on. Okay. Maybe it's the opera. By the way, if you ever hear somebody bumping opera, that's probably going to be me. Let's see here. Okay, I lost my track of thought. So, okay, lilies and flowers. Okay. Now this this could also be some kind of invitation you receive, because we do have letter and we did have something being offered to join someone in a group and go somewhere theatrical, or you may be going with a group of artistic people somewhere, maybe even a theater, but just being in a group of people and there's some kind of artsy shenanigans going on. Okay. I'm also seeing someone was praised for their artistic accomplishments and or abilities. What did I write down? I don't even remember half the shit I wrote. Okay. Oh yeah, I just put no strings attached. Okay, so never mind. Okay. I had to write tiny, you guys. Okay. So, I'm also seeing, again, so another combination. A lot of these combinations are just repeating themselves, but I'm going to repeat myself because it's repeating itself. I'm seeing there's verbal niceties to kind of create harmony. Now, this reminds me a little bit of Scorpio reading just recently, in that we have somebody gives or gets a sexy letter, love letter. Doesn't have to be actual letter, like writing out something. Although, why not be, a little bit more old school. But it's honest with no flattery. Although somebody's still not sure if there's flattery involved. You guys need to work on your intuition. Come on, Nicole. Okay. But yeah, somebody's trying to create harmony in some way. Okay. Let's move on from there. Next we have man, which is over here. Guys, I didn't even get to this man. Not really. So I didn't get to the woman either. So I'm just like, I figured it's all going on through a man and a woman. Okay. But, whatever. Okay, so we have flowers and man. I got to sit up. Oh my goodness. Like a slouch after a while. I don't know what it is. Okay. Oh my goodness, it's taking forever. Okay. I don't even. Okay. Anyway. Okay, so flowers and man. Okay, good. Make sure my microphone was on. I hate it when I do readings and the microphone's not on. And then I'm like, well, I'll write you an email. Because the readings take a lot of energy. Oh my goodness. Okay, so flowers and man, finally. I'm seeing that there might be a male that you appreciate, or there's a male that is appreciated. Very flirty. But then I also have sycophant, or there's this word I used to mispronounce because I'd only read it. I used to say obsequious when really it's obsequious. But when you've only read a word, you just pronounce it how you would think it'd be pronounced. But so I'm seeing somebody being obsequious, i.e. like overly fawning, or let's see, like a bootlicker or a suck up. And I'm also seeing a handsome man. But I'm also getting a male who is whitewashing things, so sugarcoating things. Or this is what somebody is perceiving is going on when really it's not. Okay. Going to cross, which actually like right smack dab in the middle of your reading. We have being friendly is of utmost importance here. It's almost like a duty. And cross always means fate. So I see there's some kind of a fateful or destined message or a meeting. This could also be a running into, like at a theater. And I'm also seeing here that somebody, we have like a gift and flowers, something that's nice, and then we have cross, which can be a burden, especially when whip is involved somehow. So I'm seeing somebody's trying to assuage someone's suffering, kind of help them forget something. But I'm also seeing that this suffering is not quite apparent, especially with clouds in the reading. Somebody is putting on a facade, like a pretty facade, or a handsome facade, but they're really just like down and out. We had utter despair, so, but definitely burdened. And then I'm seeing somebody is trying to shoulder some responsibility or take on somebody's burden again. So it's coming up again. And that's how they're trying to assuage the suffering. Relieve suffering. And then there's somebody who's just almost overwhelmingly thankful that somebody's taking responsibility or taking something that is burdensome, or again, like relieving somebody. Okay. With the flowers and the letter, we have some kind of a letter or communication that involves compliments, praises, again, some kind of an invite, and somebody who's expressing gratitude. So we had this overwhelming thanks and gratitude, appreciation, and then it's expressed some way, verbally, through text, whatever. I'm also seeing that somebody may contact somebody through Facebook, maybe any social media, but Facebook particularly. But somebody's kind of beating around the bush. They're mincing their words. I don't think they're being very straightforward. I mean, yes, they're giving all these compliments, but they're not saying something that needs to be done in a direct way. They're not doing it. Okay, we also have the scythe. Which says this message that happens was unexpected. So again, we have that surprise. It could be an unexpected invitation, unexpected visitor, unexpected message. But whatever it is that somebody is getting or gaining from this, it's very nice. And whatever is coming to an end or whatever is being stripped bare and vulnerable is nice. And I mean the updated version of nice that we use in this day and age. Okay. Okay, I think we're done with flowers. Finally. Let's move on to whip. Woo! Okay. It doesn't actually look too pleasant when you look at it like this. Okay, so we have whip and moon. That was the combination. Okay. This means PTSD in Lenormand. I've been looking for this, you guys. I've been trying to figure out what the fuck PTSD is in here. Because in tarot, it's Judgment and 5 of Swords. And sometimes 9 of Swords, too. But it's here. I'm so excited. I found it. And I'm going to forget again. Just watch. Okay, so... this talks about PTSD, somebody feeling really deep shame or deep guilt. Could be both parties, but there's a confrontation that is needed. Okay, something is kind of being obscure. It's gone on for a while because we have all these different phases, all these cycles. So again, there's something that's been going on, and it just needs to be confronted. And then somebody is experiencing grief. Actually, it's both ends. One person's experiencing grief because of PTSD, and the other person's experiencing grief due to just profound remorse. And there's some kind of a confliction between what somebody needs and what they fear. So I think that it just needs to be confronted. Whatever you're afraid of, it's still something that needs to happen. It's something you still need, and so you have to do it. And this involves, of course, with PTSD, it's some kind of an emotional injury. Somebody being emotionally broken. And then there's this idea of discussing fears and discussing needs. Nightmares, which of course that's PTSD because you just have nightmares every night. But it may be seen as a nightmare to actually confront this. And somebody thinks this could just very well be a disaster. And they've been trying to avoid it, but it can no longer or should no longer be avoided. And I'm seeing somebody's going to get relief, respite, in order to heal. Again, somebody is taking on some kind of a burden to kind of help somebody's suffering. And I feel like it might be mutual. At first I was seeing it one-sided, but I feel like it's mutual because both people are despairing, but they're sharing the despair. I mean, it sounds like so much grief and sadness, but at the same time, Mayberry. Oh, isn't that so sweet? You guys are going to share sadness. Good for you. Okay. Okay, let me get to key. Right next to the birch rod, i.e. whip, is key. We have the 8 of Pentacles up here, so I do feel like this is something you're going to have to continuously work at. Okay. It's not going to be easy. You have to put in a lot of work over and over and over again. In fact, you're going to have to confront this over and over and over again. In fact, PTSD is over and over and over again. So I'm just seeing putting in work. I'm also seeing that this discussion about the needs and wants and fears and PTSD in general is welcomed. Somebody may mention how they kind of unwittingly open themselves up to mistreatment, or somebody's afraid this could happen. They're afraid of being blamed. But throughout this discussion, there comes a solution. Somebody feels as if they could get blamed for opening up, or if they open up, they will get blamed. And so they're scared to open up. They will, okay, just based on some other cards I've seen, but it's going to be really fucking slow, okay? Fucking slow. Like, I'm an impatient person, so when I see really fucking slow, I'm like, come on. Like, have some balls, or lady bits, or whatever, I don't know. Okay. Okay, I think that's all I got here. We shall see. Great. Now, something I found really important is under the whip, we have the scythe. And this means sudden aggression. So somebody may open themselves up, be a little vulnerable, and they experience sudden aggression. And so they feel like they were vulnerable and they should not have been, or they're scared this could happen, and so they're slow to open up. I'm also seeing that somebody was exposed to sudden aggression, something that was considered dangerous or even possibly abusive, and they were vulnerable to their detriment. But this sudden aggression that could possibly happen is met with kindness. And so I think it just like completely fucks somebody up. And it ends an abusive situation. Somebody may have hurt somebody on purpose. Or somebody has been hurt on purpose. Somebody could have self-harmed, or they could be self-harming. But something good that's happening is somebody's finally, up in big capital letters, accepts responsibility for something. They own up to it. And they want to provide recompense. They do. And in some later cards, you'll see they actually ask how they can make reparations. But somebody just feels guilty, like they've been harming themselves out of guilt. Some people have been harming themselves out of shame. I feel like it's both parties. And I don't feel like it's actual physical hurting, although there is a little flagellation in there somewhere with the cross that we have. But it's like somebody just continuously rolls this around. So if it's a cycle, it's reminiscent of PTSD. But yeah, there's two parties here that just are not having a good time. Okay. With the whip and the ring, what we have here is this whole thing needed to be confronted because somebody has an inability to let go. So again, there's this cycle going on, and it's because there's some unresolved issues that need amends. And so somebody's going to have to commit to tackling this. And then I have the idea of broken promise. So I'm not sure if that promise was something that wasn't really offered, but may have been implied in some way. But again, there's this reparation coming up. So, but what I'm seeing here is there's been a very vicious cycle that has gone on. And somebody has been like playing it out to the very bitter end. but then it doesn't end. It just keeps going. So somehow or another it is going to end, but I'm guessing it's going to involve two people instead of maybe just one. I'm also seeing there's a very extreme connection or attachment between these people. May cause arguments. There may be some cancers in here because there could be some clinginess going on. Yeah. Okay, and what I was going to mention earlier is with letter, which I did mention earlier, but just to show you the combination. Okay. This says, somebody wants to apologize and ask how they can make amends. Okay. Then we have cross, which does say, somebody feels a sense of guilt. So we have all these combinations that are showing this. Again, we see apology, atoning for something. And then we have this idea of somebody being pressured. Now, I don't think somebody's being pressured into apologizing, okay? They may be pressuring themselves, but I don't feel like that's happening. More like this is talking about the PTSD or something in the past where somebody was pressured into saying yes, or they were just pressured to open up or pressured to do something. Because we have like abuse, and then we also have somebody who's feeling so guilty that we have like the flagellation idea. They feel very convicted. And then somebody is very accustomed to aggression. Like they're accustomed to receiving it or accustomed to having it and giving it. Somebody's expecting to receive aggression and insults. Like that's just normal to them, or that's normal to them in this particular relationship. They expect conflict, they expect debate, they expect to be chided. But remember, when aggression comes, somebody's supposed to act with kindness, and that completely kills everything in a good way. It kills everything bad. And there's some people, they're going to think they found a solution, but they haven't quite found it just yet. So again, I think it's going to take a while to come to a solution. There may be several discussions. But there's this idea of instant justice. So if somebody reveals that they've been like beating themselves up over something, that may feel like instant justice. I don't feel like court is actually involved. I mean, that's possible, but I don't really see it here. It didn't come up in my like little tiny notes. But a solution will be found. A very harmonious solution, actually. Very high quality, too. Okay, moving on to man and whip. Guessing it's going to be this man. Okay. So you were over. I don't know. It doesn't matter what order they're in because I took notes anyway. So yeah, we'll just. It's man. Okay. Doesn't matter if it's old or young. So this is a man that is described as snarky. But he's also a man who feels ashamed and guilty. He's burdened. He might be a man who tends to be insulting, or he is expecting to be insulted. But I'm seeing he beats himself up, and like quite literally with flagellation here, but it doesn't have to be literal. Because he sees himself as an abuser or an aggressor, and or he was or is. And then I'm seeing somebody who hates men. So somebody could end up hating men, or they said they hated men, or something like that. Or again, if we have a man who hates men, then we have somebody who hates themselves. So that could be where the guilt is coming from. But we also have man makes amends. Okay, so it's coming up lots of times. Come on. All right, with mice. What we have here are some arguments that were really fucking bad. I'm also having, again, loss for words, cat got your tongue. So somebody may have stopped talking because the arguments were too bad, and they were just exhausted with the conflict. There could have been some slander involved, and nobody really stood up after this. So they didn't stand up for themselves. But basically, there was just these words that were like poison, like slowly, like killing somebody, harming somebody, or somebody is continuing to ingest these words or rumors. And then I also have some kind of an abuse that was gradual. So it went unnoticed. And that particularly is kind of a little bit like grooming. But then at the same time, we have somebody who feels so guilty that they are almost crippled by this guilt. They cannot hardly even function. This could also be feeling shame or grief, but it's most likely guilt. And again, somebody wants to atone for the evils that they've done. But they're afraid that somebody's going to demand compensation as opposed to it being given. And this is because somebody took something. Somebody took something without permission. And so they're afraid they're going to be asked or demanded of compensation, when really they want to make recompense and apologize, make amends, but they don't want it to be demanded of them. And I'm seeing here that nobody should be demanding that anyway, because what is it if it's not freely given anyway? Okay. That may be the instant justice where somebody actually says they want to make amends, they take on responsibility of something. Okay, oh my goodness. That was whip. Now let's go to key. Okay, so key and cavalier, which is the same thing as key and rider. I need a drink. Okay. You guys are lucky it's not my bedtime yet. Okay. This said somebody is wide open for anything. Again, there's some kind of a welcome change with the stork here, but just in general, welcome to change. Also kind of like a fated change. We have 9 of Cups, so somebody will get their wish. They'll have emotional fulfillment as opposed to grief. And somebody may make an offer to change, and it's received very well. I see like a yes. Now we also have that idea of being pressured to say yes, but I feel like that's already happened. I think this is coming up in the future. Oh my gosh, my cat. I'll have to go see what it is in a minute. Okay, because we're finally getting down to like the last part. Because in the middle is key and rider. That's all we got. So that's why I'm telling you I can't keep going, because this will be a 3-hour reading. I'm not doing that. So I'm seeing somebody's kind of open-minded and flexible. They're like, yeah, I'm down for it. Sure, you know. I see them kind of just not blasé, but willing. And they are taking a risk by doing this, okay? It's a big risk. They're having to be vulnerable. That's come up a few times too. But this is choosing to allow somebody to come close to you. Fluff! Cut it out. Fluff! I don't care what's outside the window. Stop. Okay, come here. What is it? What? Stop pawing my butt. What? What'd you break? Are you apologizing for breaking stuff? Okay, you're forgiven. Now let me read. That's my butt. Stop. 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 Take the Labradorite. Take it. Okay. So, yeah, somebody's allowing somebody to come close to them. I think this is actually reciprocal, but it's going to be difficult for both parties because they are making themselves open to attack, is what I see. They have to act very quickly. They may feel pressured to do this. Fluffaluffagus, I'm going to beat you. Shush. Okay. It's a good thing I took notes because I know you're completely lost right now. Okay. That was key and rider. Now we have key and cross. So again, I'm seeing somebody accepts responsibility, readily even, and then somebody's open to learn something. And again, I'm seeing somebody being delivered from suffering, being open-minded. Somebody has to be open-minded because this is going to be extremely hard work. Oh my gosh. Okay, then I have mice. We're almost done, guys. Somebody discovers some kind of positive secret. Or something they discovered is very nice. But again, they have no defenses, so they are making themselves vulnerable to attack in some way. Also, in the past, somebody's boundaries were not attended to. Somebody went against their boundaries and they had no defense. So there was this idea of violation, unexpected or secret intruder. There was a lot of bias that went into the situation. Overall, it was just a very, very bad idea. It could have been, being vulnerable to attack. I mean, we do have PTSD in here, so I don't think this is going to happen, though. I think this is what somebody is afraid could happen again. Because, again, they're having to be vulnerable. And they feel as if there may be no solution. That's what they feel. But there is one, and it's a very good one. Fluff! Oh my goodness. I'm going to come in there and beat you. And they're feeling like there's just no hope. It's utter hopelessness. But then, with that idea of the cross, somebody accepting responsibility readily. Oh my gosh. What? Come here. Don't yell at me. Come here. What? Don't paw my butt. Oh my gosh. Why are you pawing my butt? I'll come fix it in a minute. I'm busy. I only got 10 more things to say. Can you fucking hold out? You really took some time to think about that one. Okay. So then we have key and anchor. This tells me that somebody is going to say yes, and they're going to have to commit to this. Like somebody saying, yes, I will commit to this. Then we have the idea of residency. So we had that idea of commitment, like engagement, marriage with the ring. Then we had commitment to residency. So this could be moving in together somehow. Not sure why you're going to move in with this person, unless that's just somehow how you're going to work it out. I don't know. But it's a possibility. But what I really see is when I see promise to stay put, promise to take up residency, I'm seeing that somebody's basically saying, hey, I'm not going anywhere, is what I see. Sorry, my computer went black for a second. And somebody's, not only are they saying I'm not going anywhere, but they're going to allow someone to kind of hold on to them. And then we have solution. And the solution basically requires, or is, like sticking with something no matter what, is what I get. So you actually have two possible solutions to this dilemma. Either stick it out to the very end and like no matter what, even if there is no end, like till you die, or completely just cut it off. That's your only solution. So if you commit to something, you can't like later back out. I mean, I guess you could technically, but you're not supposed to. Very black and white, actually. I don't usually think in that way, but that's what it is here. Okay, now with the key and lilies, what we have here, if I could keep this from curling up, we have somebody who's open to sensual experiences. And we all know lilies means sex. So somebody's open to sexual experiences. I'm not sure if this is part of the plan or why somebody's living with somebody. I really have no idea what this reading's about, you guys. So please tell me this makes sense to you. And like, congratulations for sticking with this for an hour. I'm going to take a bubble bath or something. But this is also agreement to have sex. And there's some kind of sexual epiphany. What is a sexual epiphany? I want to know what that is. If you have an idea what that is, let me know in the comments, okay? But we also have just a very, very deep understanding, deep insight. And then we have really high quality, harmonious solution. Like the key is sex and sensuality. Or destined sex and sexuality, whatever. Both, really. And then we also have somebody slow to open up. And it's going to take, a shit ton of time, okay? I'm going to stop this because my neighbor decided to play, like, some really loud whatever. Okay. So with key and man, wherever he may be, we have a man who did not respect somebody's boundaries, but a man who ends up being relieved, who has really good insight and understanding, like, finally. He typically has good insight and understanding, but in this particular situation, it's like finally somebody sees something. And they feel free, or they're trying to free somebody. I also feel like somebody's going to free a man or relieve a man, maybe of guilt that he's feeling. And somebody finally gets to access a man's heart and mind. Like the key to a man's heart, right? Okay. Which apparently does not have anything to do with food. Duh. But it's also mind as well. So, okay, with the key and ring, I do feel like somebody could actually like move in together. Because we have saying yes to some kind of an agreement. This could be a sexual agreement, just an agreement in general. We have engagement, but we also have commitment to try to understand each other and kind of figure out what is the glue to this relationship. What is holding it together? And it looks like it's some kind of karmic connection, so possibly twin flame. Aren't twin flame relationships always this fucked up, aren't they? But also being released from something that has bound somebody. And somebody may release somebody from a promise. So somebody promises to commit to something, then somebody else may decide to set them free. So again, there may be a solution, but then for some people, they may just let them go. And so then there's two different kind of groups of people. Some people will finally have some kind of resolution, and other people won't, unfortunately. Because I have some people here who want to commit, but some people who are kind of not wanting to commit in a relationship. In that case, I would actually suggest friendship. Okay, then with the key and the scythe, and these cards are all over the fucking place. We have somebody is opening themselves up to injury, okay? And some people may feel hurt if somebody decides to break the promise, okay? But really what I'm seeing here is this whole situation just needs to be cleaned up. Like these scythes, kind of like what sickles, they're used to clean up, landscapes. So I'm seeing clean up the situation in order to relieve it. But then I also have somebody withdraws consent. So this could be something from the past, but also somebody might break a promise and withdraw, consent to commit to something. And then we have somebody who's open to end something. So we have somebody open to end suffering, as well as somebody open to end an agreement and release someone. Because what I get here is somebody closes the door in somebody's face. So it's like the opportunity was open, and then it just shuts right back. So again, this could happen, and like there's this idea of being kind and like letting somebody go, and if they want to be there, they might come back. But I feel like because there is such a slow opening up process, that whoever is opening and shutting the door just may not be ready. And that why maybe that takes a while. Okay. Okay, with key and mice. Wait, I talked about that. It's with key and rider. I forgot to talk about this part. I wrote it down though, so let me talk about it. What we have are unexpected relief. So somebody does relieve somebody. And somebody's pushing really hard to get some understanding. And an understanding approach is needed here. Trying to be understanding of somebody. And then what I have is somebody is getting relief, and it's unexpected, and it's great. And this actually says it's happening now. So I'm guessing from right now on, all this will start happening. Okay. Let's pull some angel cards before I get off here. Okay. Let go. I feel like this is let go of holding on, but like emotionally, like not showing your emotions. But also somebody is trying to let go of grief and guilt. There will need to be compromises, of course. I think you're also going to be sharing and trying to understand. A year from now, which means any time within a year. Okay. What I see here is unlikely and no. So somebody does think this is unlikely, and like they're just probably refusing in some way. But again, that's going to happen. But then they might change their mind. And then we have recovery. So there is some kind of recovery regarding the situation. Do we have anything? Why is the unlikely here? Okay. So somebody thinks it's unlikely, but they're going to reconsider. Then again, if they're up for it, they might reconsider and change their mind, because we did have that in here with broken promises. Okay, why is the emphatic no here? I'm saying, like, we have a couple groups of people here, so at least two. Okay. So what I'm saying is it's up to you. And again, somebody has to take swift action, okay? Otherwise, it very well could be a no. So reconsider what you're thinking and then make that decision. It's really up to you. Like, nobody's going to force you to do anything. So glad I didn't fall behind the desk. Meditation brings answers. That's not really what I'm looking for. Let's get one last message. Okay, so in the near future, but within a year. Okay, let's see. Oh, within the next few months. Okay, that's within a year. It's in the near future. So, all right, let's see what we can get from the Rider-Waite. Let's see if we can get some zodiac signs or something. Okay, oh man. Knight of Pentacles. This is the very, very slow motherfucker. So definitely a slow opening up process. But very seriously committed. Has real feelings. But they're not going to open up quickly. In fact, I mean, he's so slow that he and his horse both have bushes growing on them, you know. Okay, I can't take that seriously because there's like a million cards there. Okay, what else do we have here? The Hanged Man. Okay, so somebody is waiting around in limbo. And they have been trying to get a new perspective on something. But I do see peace. There may be an idea of sacrifice. This is a divine call. Page of Cups reversed, which is also like a Pisces card, like the Hanged Man. Somebody may not be ready to make up just yet. So there could be a rejection. I'm also seeing like peace in the storm. The advice is pause, be willing to listen to somebody. Suspend all your judgments and then like let go and forgive. I feel somebody's kind of indecisive about that right now though. I'm also getting promising something but reneging or not delivering. But this person's very responsible and serious, so they're really intending to deliver, but maybe they're not able to for some reason. I also feel like somebody may want to mentor somebody. Oh, okay, we have the apologies, amends, no longer being separated, healing. Love interest understands things. They understand whom they're supposed to help or go for. And then again, we have the idea of recovery right next to each other. So definite recovery. But it does bring about some anxiety, that's for sure. Oh, wow. Wheel of Fortune. So, definitely good things happening. Like the wheels are turning. Again, it's happening now. Now is the right time. But this just telling me just everything's happening. I feel like, you know, that change is coming and it's exactly what you need. It's a whole new way of life. It's also saying keep the faith. Almost like you're having a universal intervention. And this says be willing to take a chance because you will get a resolution. It'll be feeling like a miracle. And it's all part of some kind of like a plan. Okay. Then we have a Hermit in reverse. Interesting. Okay. It's a change of attitude, especially with the Hangman over here. I'm seeing the need to be humble. Okay. Especially when it comes, you know, use your common sense. Don't let the ego get in the way. Don't be too quick to cut people out of your life. And don't be afraid of being vulnerable. Yep, that's all I got. Let's see what's on the bottom. 7 of Swords. Yeah, definitely just being cautious, but don't be afraid. Like, don't just throw caution to the wind, but you can open up slowly, okay? Get your mind together. This does have to do with some kind of a betrayal, usually emotionally. There may be somebody who's, affectionate, but also volatile, so kind of temperamental. There we go. But you won't let yourself be seduced or anything like that. In fact, I think somebody plans on trying to prove themselves in some way, and somebody's taking their power back. Also, being kind is going to disarm the enemy. But you should be expecting this person to come through, possibly rather sneakily as well. All right, guys, good luck.